Perhaps you're already familiar with data analytics. That's all good. But for those of you who like to teach data analytics but not so sure how to start, we are going to make it very easy for you to teach data analytics by using AI and some other tools without having technical knowledge. I'd like you to put yourself in a role of a teacher, not as a student, because a lot of what we're going to talk about is how we inspire our students to appreciate data analytics. So the agenda is we're going to play a game, and then we're going to use AI to model and analyze the data. And then we are going to use the data back into the game, use the intelligence that we have discovered, and then use it as an advantage to win the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look back feedback. Yeah. So Monsoon Sim is a platform that allows you as a teacher to become a facilitator. So your role is to configure Monsoon Sim into various business scenarios. Scenario 1, Scenario 2, Scenario 3, and almost unlimited scenarios, and put your student into the scenario and play a game within that scenario. And the game is a very competitive game. It's not playing against themselves, but it's also playing against other teams. And in the process, they should learn, and they will pick up a lot of business concept. If you're new to Monsoon Sim, just remember it's a very specialized platform designed to transform the way you teach. Using Monsoon Sim, you configure Monsoon Sim environment into various business scenario and teach. The scenario can be very simple. It could be just about one particular concept. For example, how to calculate the cost of goods. That's very, very short game, a very simple game. Or it can be a very long game that covers a lot of concept. So an example in Monsoon Sim, suppose you have defined a game like this, where there is a vendor and there is a retail store. It's a very simple game, only two departments, like a procurement department and a retail sales department. Then you allow your student to immerse into the game environment and compete with each other. You give them a KPI, say, okay, whoever makes the most profit wins the game. Then in the process of playing the game, guess what your student will go through? They will go through understanding concepts such as revenue, overhead, purchasing, profit, capacity planning. They will bound to be exposed to this concept involuntarily, because this concept will come to them as they want to win the game. So definitely they will go through this concept. That's the way to learn, because you are experiencing it instead of theory about what is profit, right? You are now experiencing yourself, because that's your own company. Yeah, you are playing a game. Now, when the teacher finds that the students are ready for more concept, then the teacher, which is you can turn on, say, loan application. And then your student will get exposed to more concept, such as current ratio, credit rating, bankruptcy, loan payment, amortization, and so on. Then if you think that your students are ready, you give them some more. You give them, say, marketing. Then your student will have to expose to marketing ROI and competitors' impact. Otherwise, they won't win the game. So in order to win, they have to self-explore, self-learn, self-discover. And when you think that they are ready, even within the same game, you can extend your game and give them logistics. Then they will learn more concepts, such as logistic, warehousing, allocations, shipments, shipping time, shipping costs, and how it impacts the profitability of the company. You give them the chance to experience the concept, okay, through the game. Now, if you turn on all the modules in Monsoon Sim, we have a lot of modules, by the way, then it's going to look like this. Okay, you have warehouse, you have production, you have wholesales, you have retail, marketing, e-commerce, HR, services, finance, maintenance, forecast, etc. Underneath this model, there are a lot of things that you can configure. You can further configure. You can further change it. Remember, one more thing is that it doesn't have to be that complex in a game. You can run a game just for, say, 5 minutes to appreciate the concept of, say, journal entry. You can run a game for 10 minutes. That's it. The reason why we make it so flexible is so that you can then incorporate into your lesson plan as and when you see needs, right? So let's say you are teaching basic accounting, then you can look at a lot of the micro concept that Monsoon Sim carries, and then you can insert those micro concepts into your lesson plan. So that is the Monsoon Sim teaching model. Our topic today is about you as a facilitator or as an educator, able to teach data analytics without technical difficulties. A lot of the accounting or a lot of the business school curriculum right now are looking into data analytics as a supplementary knowledge. Because whatever you teach, you want to make your course more relevant in terms of the application of data. Because with all this intelligence thing come around, we're talking a lot of strategic thing, a lot of critical thinking, and the power to analyze data is valid for all courses. Every course needs to include data analytics. Now, you may not be expert in all this technical stuff like Python code and so on, but you still can teach, yeah? So this is what this workshop is all about. You're not teaching something very, very advanced. No, okay, I must say that. But this is just to give them the concept. Further, then they can explore by themselves, or there could be another course that you can design with more technical overwhelm, but not this. Okay, this is to inspire the student to appreciate the power of data analytics. So what we're going to do today is we're going to play a game, and then we are going to use AI, particularly 3.5. The reason why we picked 3.5 is because that's the only free version available right now, ChatGPT. Now, at this point, I would assume that all of you have used ChatGPT. I have another component, which is Google Colab. And I choose Google Colab because it is free again, and it is very flexible for us to explore further about data analytics. This is a pathway for me to generate Python code from ChatGPT, and then we can discover and visualize the data of the game. Once we have the intelligence of the data, then we can feed back into the game, and perhaps we can win the game using the intelligence. Okay, so we're gonna do this process today. However, there's another way to do that, which is we use ChatGPT 4.0, and this is a paid version. So when AI is getting more and more powerful, there's a lot of things that will get replaced by AI, including a lot of the tools that we use today. Okay. And what remains important is our critical thinking. If we know how to critical think, we are not going to get replaced by AI that easily. So this is what we want to stress on. We want our students to learn how to think and less on the administrative stuff like downloading, installing, connecting, and so on. So what's the role here, right? We're going to play a game. We're going to ask the AI to build a chart showing the price effect over units sold. This is an example. This is a case that we're going to do today. And then we are going to display the chart and use the intelligence to win the business game once again. Yeah. So why do we use game? The game is to provide excitement and to generate business data and for knowledge reinforcement. You see, you don't have to play a game, and you can just use your own data that you come up with on an Excel and then do the same thing, no problem. But you're probably going to lose the excitement for the student because the data that you produce somehow from the air is not the data of their strategic thinking. So that's why the game is important. The game will fulfill the role of giving you the excitement to drive the student to analyze the data, because there is a competitive element in the game. You got to win the game. So that's the role of Monsoon Sim. 3 roles, right? First is to provide the excitement, very important, absolutely important, because today, if the student lose their interest, if they don't have the excitement in the learning, there will probably be no learning. Yeah, because they will be just looking at their mobile phone, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. Right? So you want to give them excitement. Second, you want to give them the business data. You can produce the business data from the game. And that's very important. Again, your own data is always connected to you so much more than the public data, right? So if I give you a set of data that I download from somewhere, you don't feel like you're connected to the data. Yeah. But if the data comes from your thinking, then you're really connected to the data. So that's that second role. The third role is to give you a knowledge reinforcement, because now you are able to use the intelligence and go back to the game and replay and continue the game and win the game. What's the role of ChatGPT? It's going to be data cleansing, data modeling, and then code generation. So the AI is going to do these three roles. What's the role of Collab? Is for you to data visualization, data modeling, and maybe you will learn Python. Okay, because I'm a firm believer of experiential learning. So if I ever given a code of Python, then I can start tweaking it, change it, and see the results. How to win a simple retail game? Assume profit is the KPI. There are multiple ways in Monsoon Sim. So there's a lot of ways to win this game, yeah, for sure. But today, because of the data analytics, I'm just going to focus on one workshop. So all this can be achieved through data analytics. All this can be achieved through data analytics. Yeah, anything, marketing, you can have the data to help you. Market intelligence also, cash management also. But today, the case study today is win by pricing strategy. That's it. Okay, this is what I'm going to show you today. We want to understand the concept of price elasticity of demand. Okay, so this is the workshop for today. Focus on the price elasticity of demand. What we're going to do is we are going to, we are here now, right? Discuss data analytics. This is the price elasticity of demand, right? What does it mean? It means that you increase the price from 2 to 5 and your quantity sold just reduced from 100 to 80 for this product. For the different product, for the same amount of price change from 2 to 5, the changes in the quantity sold is huge. Here we're only talking about, okay, this, for the same amount of change, 2 to 5, $3, $3. The change in quantity sold here is only 20, but here it's about 50. So the question is, which one is more elastic? Obviously, this is more elastic. Then the next question for you as the critical thinking comes in is, what if you know the price elasticity of the apple juice and orange juice and melon juice? How does it help you? Of course, it helped me as a player. Why? Because if I know that changing the price of apple juice doesn't affect the unit sold, can you imagine if I raise the price a lot, then I'm going to win the game, right? Why am I selling at $20 if I can raise to $30 and still sell the same amount of goods, right? So therefore, my strategy then will become, I'm going to increase the price of apple juice. So that is the purpose of understanding the elasticity of the product. Now I'm going to initialize the game and go back to day 0. I'm going to retain the dynamic parameter of the game. I don't want to change anything of the game. I like you guys to keep the same thing. I'm going to do a demo. I'm going to go through a demo mode here. So you can, your screen will be frozen. I'm going to use, say, Lani. Lani, I'm going to be you. Okay, so I'm going to step through the transaction, showing you the things that you should do later, yeah? So first thing first is I'm going to go to, because my purpose is to find out the elasticity, yeah? So now I'm going to say, go to Adelaide, just rent a store, approve it. Then I will just step through the game. Day one, so my retail store Adelaide is in, that's good. Now I'm going to go buy a bunch of goods. So I'm going to buy like 30,000 or 30,000 or 30,000 each. Okay, I'm going to get overflow, but that's not my point here. That I don't care about the overflow for now. I'm just going to buy a lot so that I don't have to run out of goods. So I'm going to buy 3 and I'm going to approve them. Then I'm going to batch process all the transaction. Now have a look here. It's in. Now I'm selling. Great. So I'm starting to sell apple juice, orange juice, and melon. Look at my revenue. I got 64,000 right away. Yeah, that's good. Now I would like to change the price. I look at my retail sales. This is what I'm selling. Nice. I'm going to try to, analyze. Yeah, I'm going to analyze the data. Analyze by experimenting a little bit, just like what I'm doing to do in real life. So first day, as a sales manager, I'm going to increase the price by $1. All of this, just by $1. Set the price, and then step through it one day. Okay, I got my sales record come in. Let me click. I got some sales. There's a bunch of numbers. Then I'm going to go in and do another dollar, another dollar, another dollar. Set the price. Then I'm going to step through the game. Okay. Then I'm going to add another dollar. Set the price. And step through it. Day 5 now. Okay. Let's do one more. So I'm going to add another dollar, another dollar, another dollar for 3 products, and then step through it. Okay. So there you go. So we have a lot of data here. Day 6, day 5, and day 4. This is where we start our data analytics, right? In the past, if you are really a hardcore data analytic class, you probably have to install Tableau or Power BI and then try to tap into the game data by using our system here, which is the data analytics side. It's not here in demo mode, but it will be, so you can set the password and then they can tap in, okay? So that is the, I would say, technical way to do it. But today we are not doing the technical way, so we're going to make it, we are lazy, and we just want to talk about thinking. We're going to do a lot of thinking, but less clicking, yeah? So being lazy and being not lazy, but being smart, and I don't want to do a lot of technical stuff, I'm just going to copy this. Okay. I will copy this data. And I ask AI to help me. Okay. So I'm going to copy all this data, copy it, and then I go to AI. Now I'm going to use 3.5. I'm going to paste this data and I say, please make a nice table. So let's see what the table does for me. I want to sort them in a better way. So let's just do that. Yeah. So I'm going to say that, okay, please sort the table, table by product. I want to say apple first, and then orange, and then melon. Then by day in ascending order. Okay, I think that will make more sense for me, right? So data cleansing, dump it to the AI, why not? Okay, smart. All right, so now I have very useful data here that I can do some analysis. So now I'm going to do a chart, right? My teacher has given me a homework on analyze this data of my game. It's a lot of things we can do, right? For example, my purpose, go back to our purpose today, is to find a price elasticity of the product. So how about I do this? So this is where we think, what chart do we want to show in order to show that? Now, I still remember in the theory that we need to look at the price versus the unit sold. So let's do that. So I'm going to say, please plot Python chart showing price versus unit sold. So they plot me a scattered chart. This is the Python code, right? Now I cannot visualize it because 3.5 does not have the capability of visualizing this. So I'm going to use another tool called Colab. So Colab is easy. All you have to do is to go to Google and then go to Colab, right? If you have a Google account, you can go to Google Colab and then you go in. It's that simple. It's free. So I'm going to go to Google, go to Colab, and I'm going to say open Colab. So now I'm in Colab, yeah? Now, when you go into Colab, there's a bunch of notebook that you can use, whatever. So now I'm going to just use a new notebook. Basically, I want to start clean. Just go to a clean new notebook. So this is Colab. It's a very, very powerful tool for me to do things like understand Python code. So I can just come here and copy this and go to Colab and go to this. You see this code? There's a code. You just add the code and then you just copy, you just paste this in here and then you execute it by clicking this guy. Okay, so the code is already generated by AI. All you have to do is to click this. Okay. So this is where the AI comes in. Now we can tweak this and try to improve this by putting it our label and so on. Yeah. Or you can try to change your prompt to make it give you a better visualization. Okay. So for example, I can say make it into 3 separate charts by product. Okay. Hopefully this is better. I'm going to add the code here, paste it, and run the code. So 3 products: apple juice, orange juice, and melon juice. Okay, so from here, you can really tell visually which one is more elastic. Okay. Because this is from 400 to 700. If you change the price, basically the price change is almost $1 each time. Every $1, look at the change in this. So the rate of change is different from each other. So you can also look at it from this screen. So this is your apple, this is your melon, right? This is your orange, and this is your apple. So this is more elastic, less elastic, and very inelastic. Okay, so that is the trend that you have seen. Okay, now if you really want to make it better, this is where we discuss among ourselves as a partner and as a team with my teammate. I could say that, okay, now let's just do this. Let's just change this to make it better and say that, okay. All right, so I'm saying, please remove the column unit sold, sales, remove the COGS and unit remaining. Just remove them. So now I've ended up with just unit sold and price. Now I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to say add a column of chain of price and another column called change of units sold. So now I can see the rate, the change. See, this will probably give you a lot more idea of which one is more elastic. Yeah, the change in price for apple juice 3%, and the change unit sold is 4%. 3% minus 1%, 3%, 6%. So it's around this neighborhood. And this one is about this neighborhood, and this is this neighborhood. Yeah, so it's a lot different in terms of change in price and change in unit sold. Now, if you really want to be really scientific, you can also add another column called change index, which is equal to change in unit sold, percentage change in unit sold, divide by percentage change in price. Let's add this column. So now things have become clearer, right? Sorry. How do I make it smaller? Yeah. The change index for apple juice is about 1%. Unitary. Well, this is like less elastic, and this is more elastic, and this is very elastic. So if I were you, what are you going to do to win the game? You want to increase the price of apple juice significantly because it's not going to affect your sales because it's very inelastic. On the other hand, you got to be careful of melon juice. It's very sensitive. If you keep increasing the price, melon juice, you're not going to sell anything because it's very sensitive, very elastic. And this is in the middle. Okay, so there you go. So now you can say, okay, plot a graph showing the average of change index per product. That's it. That should be our final conclusion. Now I'm going to click this and go to here and then do the final one, add the code and run. Okay. So the conclusion is melon juice is very sensitive. Orange juice is in the middle and apple juice is the average of it. So this is a very scientific way of convincing me that apple juice is very inelastic. So I want to increase the price of apple juice to win the game. Okay. So now if I were a student, all I need to do is to just copy this and put into my report. This is what we have discovered. All without any coding, all without any technical difficulty. All we need to do is to copy and paste. But there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of discussion with AI. There's a lot of back and forth. And that is the future. The future is about who can deal with the robot, right? If you got to speak in a way that they understand, and they got to speak in a way that they can help you. No matter how powerful, if you cannot communicate, you're still not going to get your answer. So after a few conversations, now I've got to this stage where I can convince myself and my teammate that apple juice is very inelastic. Okay, so now think about what else you can do with this data. There's a lot of things you can do with this data, yeah? This data is very interesting. You know, I think this data is very useful. For example, I can say things like, just example, I can say that, okay, give me a pie chart of the sales of product. So I can just come here and change this. And I say, plot pie chart of total sales by product. Submit. Add the code here and run this. Okay. So if I were to look at data analytic based on pie chart, will I get the answer? No, I won't get the answer. So you gotta look at, find a way to find your answer, which is a lot of critical thinking. So this pie chart, it doesn't tell me a lot about the elasticity, but it does tell me that, oh, I sell melon juice a lot. That's it. Yeah. So depending on what you want to discover, right? So I can also make it more creative, like say, I can go back and say, all right, I want to experiment something. I've always heard of something called heat map. So let me see some heat map, right? Plot the heat map of sales by product. and day. I just want to see. Add your new code and let's see. I get the chart here. Okay, if someone is good in Python, then maybe can go in and tweak a little bit. But at least I got this thing, right? So this is selling a lot, this heat map. So on second day, I did sell a lot for apple juice, for melon juice. Okay, so and so on. Now you can also want to explore yourself in Python. You can always come in and learn, and you can go back to GPT and learn. You can change the label and so on. So there's a lot of data we can find out from just a simple table of data here. Okay. You can also do a stack chart of COGS. So let's suppose I go back to this one, this table with the COGS. There you go. And I say, okay, please plot a stack area chart of COGS based on the above table. Copy and paste. Okay, what does it tell me, right? It tells me that my COGS is the most in melon. Look at this, right? Apple, and then this is called stack chart, area stack chart. And then we have a lot. We have group bar chart, we have line chart, we have heat map, we have box plot. We can even do a box plot of the price, the one that we do. You want to see that? Let's do it. So I can say that, okay, I can just edit this and I say, okay, please plot a box plot of price distribution by product. Can I do that? Sure, I can. I can learn quickly. So if you haven't seen a box plot, this is it. Okay, the price distribution of your product. And you can look at the trend, you can do prediction and so on. So with just a very short game, in fact, only 5-6 days of retail sales, I can ask the student to do a lot of homework. Yeah. And in doing this homework, it's not just simple and it may magically happen. No, they have to talk, they have to think, they have to talk to the AI, and then they have to think about it and they have to analyze the data. And that's what we want them to do, thinking, talking, and not a lot of technical struggling. Okay. Forecasting. Yeah. So you can say that,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
let's just say, please plot a line chart of sales over time by each product. Copy and paste. There you go. So if I were to give this to my CEO, then I think he will be very, very concerned about this guy, right? What is going on, right? He's gonna ask me, what happened to the melon juice? Can you imagine day 7, day 8? So that's the point, right? That's the line. It clearly tells me what's going to happen if I do not make a correction. Now think about what other things that you can do now that we have all this chart. In fact, I'm going to save them so that I can share it with you guys if you like. These are the things that you can get, right, out of the data. All right, that's it. So I've shared a number of charts that you can develop out of this exercise. I'm going to continue with my theory here. So again, this non-technical course, So the approach is we are doing an interactive game-based learning instead of the traditional way of lecture-based theoretical learning. And the data source is actually the game's data. It's not downloaded or pre-generated data. And we're talking about ChatGPT 3.5 collab versus this thing. And the scenario is hands-on real-life scenario over hypothetical and case study based. The outcome is business intelligence discovered that's immediately applicable in real world. That's important, immediately applicable. So if we run the game again, you know what to do now, right? You know exactly what to do now based on the intelligence that we have discovered. So normally, if you do not have this game-based learning, you are not going to apply it. There's no way to apply it, right? You just learn it and that's it. So there's no platform for you to apply the discovered knowledge. So what we do, essentially, we spend more time critical thinking on what is objective. Is there enough data capture? We have to talk about this, a lot of this, right? What kind of chart is best to show the result? Remember earlier, we were discussing with the AI, we were tweaking the data, we were cleansing, we tried to find the best way to prove our point, right? Would there be any misinterpretation of the result? There was sometimes earlier in the process that we almost misinterpreted. Remember, they used a change in the price that being 100%, that's not right. So that was misinterpreted. So we have to correct that, right? We have to reconfirm how to reconfirm our finding. What are possible flaws in our approach? Because we could be cognitively biased by looking at a chart. We may want certain result, so we tend to be biased, right? So this is the thing that we need to spend more time doing, right? What we don't spend time on is we don't do this, we don't work with data source connection, we don't learn how to chart creating, we don't learn the menu and the functionality of the DI tools, right? It's not that they are not good, no, they're good, but they are for more technical class, right? What we don't do that because actually to me, these are highly disrupted later by the advancement of AI. So as ChatGPT 4, for example, you don't need this anymore, right? And even ChatGPT 5 or 6 or 7, it's going to be available for everyone. Everyone will have that in their pocket. So, what are these, going to do? So I think we should train our students more critical thinking rather than more how. This is why, this is how. A how will be get disrupted by the technology, and the why will never get disrupted. Okay, so that's the point that I want to underline. Okay, so now the rest is easy. What you guys want to do, you can go back and clear the drawing. Right. The other case you can explore, you can win by better logistic. You can win by, we were just using one case study of price strategy, but you can do it for logistic, marketing, and so on. Yeah. Other concept you can do, you can find the relationship in two variables. What's the competitor's presence and unit sold, customer loyalty versus the unit sold, population, and so on. There's a lot you can discover just from a very short game like this. Okay, so more playing leads to more question, more thinking, analyzing, and more learning. Yeah, so that's the whole Monsoon Sim way of teaching and learning. Okay, so now my game is the key things that I want to deliver is over. Now what we can do is we can run a game, continue running the game if you like. Let's just do for 10 days using the idea that you have discovered. Okay, so I'm going to run the game just for 10 days and then we can wrap it up. So now I'm going to stop the demo mode and the demo mode, and it will go back to day 0. Yeah. I'm going to retain the dynamic value of the game. By the way, let me show you what we have set the elasticity to see if we are correct. See, we can control the product elasticity here. Product 1 being the apple juice, the elasticity demand is elastic. Product 2, which is the orange juice, is more elastic. And product 3, which is the melon juice, is very elastic. So we have elastic, more elastic, and very elastic, which is proven by our data here. Okay, so that's it. So now I can make it harder for you guys, I can make it system determined. So if I do system determined, then you have to figure it out yourself, right? But it's up to, but maybe I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let you run the game for the next 3 days. So are you guys ready? Let's run for 10 days using the experience that we have learned. All right. So submit your transaction, guys. Okay. Submit your transaction and then we go for a game. I'm just going to run it for 10 days. Go. All right, the game stops. Thank you. Let's have a look at the KPI. Ta-da! Okay, and the winner is, let's have a look at the score by metric, sorry. Team 2. All right, Team 2. By the score of revenue, net profit, and gross profit margin, you have won the game. All right, who's Team 2? Let me see. Can you explain a little bit?
Yes. So
Yes,
what I did was I actually played a lot with my price.
right?
Since we already knew that Apple price was less elastic, so I tried and made sure that my products were selling at a good price. That
Good,
is what I did. And
good.
I made sure that the inventory were all set up properly so that I don't miss any sales. So that is two things I did in this game.
Excellent, excellent. So
Yes.
tell me about the whole experience today. Any feedback from you?
It was actually different from what I usually experience during conducting these sessions. What I experienced was the demand per product were completely different every day. Suppose for 18th and 19th day, there were no business for orange juice, but there were good business for apple and melon juice. So this kind of dynamic demand I didn't have experience prior to today. So it was completely new for me, and this beta version looks quite mature as well compared to the older one.
Okay, very good. All right. So anyone else want to share anything? Thank you, Tapa.
My pleasure.
All right then. That's fine. That's very good. Once again, thank you all for coming. It's already 2 hours, so I guess we have completed just in time. Thank you once again for joining. I would like to say one last thing is that I welcome you to join the user conference that is coming May 9th and 10th in Kuala Lumpur. Please look at our website. The user conference is already up for registration. We are going to release these new version plus a lot more. So looking forward to seeing all of you. Thank you once again.